All right, so there's a car right there. Look at, oh! That
looks like a Sprint.
That's your Sprint right there. Wow. He disappeared in October 1973, but he was driving a GMC Sprint. He had a heart condition, and we believe he suffered another heart attack and went into the river on the Sacramento side. We are south of Sacramento working 7 missing persons cases, and in the process we found a car that was upside down 75 feet out in the water. Right now we don't have any records as to if it's stolen, if it's insurance fraud, if there happens to be somebody that's missing from Missouri. We don't know. We're going to bring you back to this morning where it all started. I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a nap and relax for a little bit, work on into the evening here, and finish running to Freeport Bridge today.
Okay.
And then, depending on what we find here, if we find something, we'll mark it tonight.
Okay.
And then if not, then we'll pick something up at Steamboat tomorrow.
Okay.
We had a whole lot of activity going on this morning as we found a stolen Corvette right here in the river. It was a 2001. Now the link for that video is down below in the description if you want to go check that out, and that's really going to bring you into the big picture of everything that we're doing down here in the area. But I'm going to give you the short version right now, and then as we're on the water scanning and searching for the next 7 miles, I'll go into more detail about people like Julie, who was here visiting her mom. She was she traveled around to different air shows, you know, Florida, she's from Georgia, came home, dumped her purse out, might have grabbed an ATM card and a temporary ID, drives away, seen on camera over on Elk Grove Boulevard, about 3 miles from here, and never seen again. Did she come to a location like this, like the Clarksburg boat ramp, for something to be like, you know what, I'm just done, I'm frustrated, I can't get a job, I got problems with my vehicle? Or did she have an accident along River Road somewhere along the way between Freeport Bridge and maybe Walnut Grove that we're going to be searching over the course of the next couple of days and the next week? We also have John Atkins, whose kids we're meeting up with tomorrow. Now John goes missing 1973, driving a GMC Sprint. It's kind of like a El Camino is what it is. It's a company vehicle. He just closed a deal up here by the Freeport Bridge and was believed to be heading down to the Carpenterville area, Paintersville Bridge. Never be seen again, and he had heart problems. So he could absolutely be in the river somewhere along here, because even though we see some guardrails today here in 2024, I'm going to say that there was probably no guardrails at all back in 1973. I also want to give you just a short version of other people we're looking for in the area, like Norma, as well as her 2 children, Thomas and Richard. Now, they went missing in 1978. So definitely an older case. If I do my math right, it's like 46, 47, 48 years old in a Pontiac Le Mans. Now, she would go for drives with her kids because she didn't have AC in the house, and so did she by chance take those drives on River Road, knowing that she could enjoy the river on one side, enjoy the river on the other when she crosses over the bridge, and then end up taking the kids home, but along the way, stop off at like some of these, you know, where these families are at, and enjoy the water with her kids to help them refresh and cool off during the day. We're also looking for Carmen Nilsson. Not a whole lot of information on this one, but you know, she was missing in a Honda Civic 2012. So we want to keep an eye out for that vehicle. And then we have Yuri Cantu, who also went missing. And we want to keep him in mind because he's from Thornton. Now, initially he was supposed to be leaving his girlfriend's house to go pick up a check up in Washington, was never seen again, and that was back in 2006, driving a 1989 blue GMC pickup. Now, there's another half a dozen or a dozen that are missing with their vehicles out of Sacramento as well. We don't have all their information with us, but we do find from time to time people on accident we're not even looking for. And so for that reason, this mission this week, we are really going deep, diving deep, and every vehicle we find, we're diving on. Every vehicle that we find, we're gonna make sure that it's cleared, as well as A1 Towing has volunteered their time and their services for the entire week that we're out here to help us pull as many cars as we can out of the water. They're doing so free of charge. I don't know if I mentioned that already. We're also doing this, Adventures with Purpose. We do this free of charge as well for every family that we come out to help. We don't charge the families. We don't charge law enforcement. And it's because of all of you that help support us just simply by watching these videos that puts us out here in this position to help the families the way we do. So we thank you for being a part of this with us. We're gonna get out on the water, we're gonna get up there, and as we're looking, we're sonaring, we're gonna teach you more about sonar, and we're gonna discuss more about each one of these cases.
For families who have all but given up on finding their loved ones, this team is a last hope. Civilian divers cracking cold cases for free.
Now, one of the things I like to do is I like to give a nice sonar overview. And I do it in most of my videos, probably 80–95% of my videos. And the reason I do so is so that way people like you can learn what it is that I'm looking at and how it is I'm scanning, because a lot of you have taken this upon yourselves across the different parts of the US and even around the world in the UK, and you've been out there searching, you've been solving cases on your own because of this entire AWP movement that started to really bring the attention to how many missing people we actually have missing with their cars underwater, and how do we identify them? How do we find them? And so what I like to do is give you that overview and talk about, the Garmin LiveScope that we're using. LiveScope, it's happening in real time. So as a fish swims by, you're gonna see the fish swim by in real time. Right now, you can see it's 22.7 feet deep. The water is nice, warm at 76.59 degrees. And as a vehicle comes up, we really use this one to latch onto it with our magnet, and really it helps us to pinpoint. Whereas this one over here, this is our Hummingbird. This is more of a picture in time, where we're using side scan and we're using down imaging. So with side scan and down imaging, we're actually able to scroll back and we say, all right, here's an object we're interested in. Let's zoom in on it and see if it's a car. Well, this one's more triangled at the back, more pointed at the front, so it's more of a tree log. In fact, that's what it is. So now if you look at the image in the shadow closely, we're looking at the tree log right here, and the shadow of the tree log is the darker part. We also use it for height, so that way the top one is our down imaging. And so as we go over an object, all right, we're interested in it, how tall is it? We're looking for objects that are 4 to 6 feet in height. And between these three units, we're really able to triangulate and pinpoint if it's a vehicle, if it's a rock, if it's a tree stump, if it happens to be a boat or a dock or something that's simply has been submerged and sunk underwater. Anyway, we take that information. If it is what we believe is a vehicle, we'll latch onto it with a magnet, and then we'll dive on the vehicle and see if it's the vehicle in question we're looking for. If it's not, then we end up popping out windows. If the windows are up, we need to clear the vehicle. Or like this week, we have the tow truck company that's lined up. And so we're gonna be leaving the windows intact for most of the cars that we run across, because we'll just simply pull the vehicle out and then we'll be able to search the vehicle once it's on shore. A lot of coordinated efforts this week from the Cortland Fire Department that's allowing us to crash at their facility. So we're using their restrooms, we're using their showers, their Wi-Fi, their internet, their AC has been amazing. To the Elk Grove Police Department that's helped us coordinate with A1 towing. So if you're happen to be anywhere in the Elk Grove, Sacramento area, be sure to use and look them up if you need a tow, because any company that's supporting an organization like ours to help clean up the environment, to make your drinking water better, to make it safer for your dogs and your kids to be out here swimming, definitely a company that I would recommend supporting. So thanks to them, and thanks to all of you, as I mentioned earlier, for being a part of this with us. Now, the boat ramp that we left is the Clarksburg boat ramp. River-wise, we have about 6.5 to 7 miles as we're running the shoreline on the west side up to the Freeport Bridge is where we're heading to. You'll see along a lot of the road up here, there's gonna be no guardrail. So a lot of cars can come off the road. There's a lot of roads that come into it with a straight intersection that just tees in, that even today in 2024, there's no real barricades that's going to stop a vehicle. You'll see some of them as we're passing them today, where cars have blown right through them and end up in the water. Something we just came across. I don't know if you saw that on live or not. So our scan was going about 3.5 miles an hour. Anytime we run into an object that we want to do some additional scanning on, we normally slow it down to between 2.5 and 3 miles an hour is what we try to hit for a good speed. Scanning upstream gives us a much better reading, because as we go down, like right now, even though I turned and I'm completely idling, I'm at 3.5 miles an hour. So we're gonna flip this back around, and then in doing so, then we're going to hit about 2.5 miles an hour for a real nice scan. As things pop up on screen, then I'm going to be, pinpointing to the shore as to where I'm at, so that way it's easier. How far from shore am I? What's the tree that I'm lined up with? So that way, as I do my 360s and 45s and 90s, as I come back across it, it really helps me just be able to identify and get right over the top of it a lot easier. It seemed like it was kind of by this log right here. So we'll see if it pops up again. I'm looking for 4 to 5 feet in height is what I'm looking for. When you start scanning the first time and you start looking at sonar, just everything looks like a vehicle. Like we're like, oh no, that's definitely a vehicle. And then you just get, like anything, the more you do it, the more you're like, okay, no, that was just a bump the way that the shelf came down from the river, or no, that's just the way that dirt had piled up against the log, or it was a rock, or like this right here. Initially you'd be like, oh, that's a car, there's the front of it, there's the back of it. No, it's just a little pile of debris with a little shadow on the one side. Something else to know in all of this also, you may or may not have been questioned, like, hey Jared, why are you not out in the middle of the river? Now let me explain, currents and rivers. Right now we're casting 75 feet to the left and 75 feet to the right. So essentially we're covering 100 to 150 feet of a swath, depending on how far we're casting onto the bank there. That gives me a good, like I said, 100 feet out into the water. Now a car, 99% of the time, is not going to be beyond the 80, 90 foot mark. And the reason for it is once it hits the water and it starts to do a little float, the current is going to push it and keep it more along the shoreline from where it went in. That's not pushing, the current isn't pushing it out to the center. The current is pushing it downstream. And then once the car goes in, it settles in, and it's like a turtle. So you have water pushing against the front of it, you have water pushing against the back of it, and that's why it's not pushing the car downriver. That once it sinks, once it settles, it doesn't move. It'll be there for a decade, 5 decades later.
Yeah, but why not just scan in the middle of the river? And since you can do super wide out, why not scan in the middle, and then you can scan that side going up and this side coming back down?
So Kate asked an incredible question as to why don't I scan at the very center? Oh, there's a car right there. You'll see it right here. See that on live? So that's a really good question, is why I don't go out to the very center. And the reason for it is, even though I have the ability to cast out 150, 200 feet, now my objects are going to appear like a little ant on screen, and I'm really going for between these grid lines of 18 to 36 to 54. And that way I know if there's an object that fills these grid lines for me, I know that it's going to help me identify it a lot easier. And so right here, that's a vehicle right there. Now that I know that I have a vehicle for sure, 100%, now this is where you're gonna see me turning to the shoreline and looking, all right, I'm gonna be lined up, 2 little bushes away from this great big giant tree. And it's going to be so far out that I'll line my nose up with like that dock up there. I'll be like, all right, I'm lined up exactly with the pole, or I'm exactly lined up with the stairs. And then I'm gonna come back over it and attach onto it with my magnet so I can dive on it. It appears to be an older vehicle. Just the way that, over time you get to be able to identify what you're looking at under here, and it looks like it's an older vehicle. It doesn't look like it's a fresher car like Julie's car would be. So right there, so it's 20 feet deep. Let's dive, or we're not going to dive it yet. What we're going to do, once we mark a vehicle, then we like to continue our scan and scan further upstream and see if there's any other vehicles that are nearby in the area, so that way we only have to go down and dive in the area one time rather than suiting up and then finding that we have another car that's only 15 or 20 feet away that we should have dove on. Alright, so there goes the magnet, dropping down. Hopefully we'll hit it. The first time would be amazing. Alright, there we go. Oh, had a lock. What I would really want is a nice solid lock. And then we'll kind of spin it around and see if we get any additional identifying markers, being able to identify it. So at this point in time, based upon what we've seen, scanning over the top of it, appears to be an older car, an older sedan. Oh, you know what? Look at that. See that? That looks like a pickup truck, doesn't it? Now, I don't think it's the Sprint that we're looking for, the GMC Sprint, and I'll tell you why. Is because the Sprint, the cab area on the Sprint is more centered on the vehicle versus towards the front, like a pickup truck or an El Camino. So if we scan that, pick that up a little bit right there. I don't know, it could be a Sprint, but plus, I'll tell you that with the Sprint, it would just be crumbling and falling apart. Now, we do have this 1989 blue GMC pickup that we're looking for Yuri Cantu, so this could be his vehicle. Alright, now let's put a pig drop here so we know right where it's at. Alright, I think we have another vehicle here. Or a dock, one of the two. Kind of off of that taller single tree. Alright, see it coming up on live right there? Barely. So this right here appears to be a dock and not a vehicle. Let's give you guys a little bit more detail on some of these cases that we're working today. First one, Norma and her sons Thomas and Richard. So this is a vehicle that if we find it, it's going to be one of those cars that's like really like Swiss cheesy. You put a magnet on it, the metal pieces are going to be coming off of it, and so that's going to be a vehicle of heavy interest for us. Now, with her being from Sacramento, as I mentioned earlier, river road down, cross over a bridge, enjoy some beach access, go for a swim, and then head back home. Who knows? They could have gone north for all we know, but what we do know is that most of the bodies of water within the Sacramento area have all been cleared. Now, the children's bicycles were inside, and there was an uncashed welfare check. The only thing that was missing was Norma's car. Norma's parents and one of her sisters have since passed away, as have Thomas and Richard's father. The case remains unsolved and little information is available. So at this point, there's no family that I'm aware of within the disappearance of them to be like, oh, hey, we're so happy that you've solved this one. It's more of a, now we've given the world answers as to what happened to Norma, Richard, and Thomas. Now, Julie Margaret Vessigault, she's the main reason that we're back down in the area. Now, initially we were down in the area looking for Duke Herringer, and one of the local PD over CSOs, community service officers over in Elk Grove, reached out to us and said, oh, we see that you're looking for Duke Herringer. When are you coming back to the area? What are the requirements for you to come help us out to look for Julie? She was seen January 23rd, 2024 at around 12:30 p.m. She got to her mother's home, dumped her purse, grabbed some keys and an ATM card, and possibly a California temporary license. Now, according to her mom's caregiver, Julie had done that before, but always returned in 2 to 3 hours. She left her cell phone, purse, $100 bill, 3 uncashed checks, took no extra clothing, and she was not known to go anywhere without her phone. So, uncharacteristic of her to have left her phone behind. And here's the other thing also, how many of you have ever, had 3 uncashed checks? Kind of, I don't know why. I mean, leave a comment down below, like, why would you have 3 uncashed checks? Now, she drove away in her tan 2005 Toyota Camry. Is that a vehicle? That looks like a vehicle there, huh? Let me focus on this, and then we'll talk about some of the other cases, or we'll continue talking about Julie, where we're looking, why we're looking, and then some of these other cases. But let me focus on this object for a moment. You can see right there. Actually, that looks like a pickup truck, doesn't it? Or is that a car? Oh, look at that. That looks like an old car, doesn't it? Like a 1940s style car. Like a roadster type car. All right, so it's right off of that tree right there. Yeah, see if I can get that image again. That was a cool image. But see, then at that angle, it looks like a truck. See, oh, look, that's like doesn't that look like the bed of a truck? Or,
that kind of looks like El Camino.
Yeah, it does.
Look at that, because I mean, you got that sports car front body.
Yeah.
The cab's in the middle, and then you got the shallow bed.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. That doesn't look like a pickup truck. That looks more like the El Camino.
I mean, if that is him and that is the GMC Sprint, I feel like that's in too good of a condition,
No, I agree with you too.
Like, look, that looks like mint condition down there. Might even start.
It's not going to start. I want to drop it more like in the bed of the back, not on the side of it. All right, let's see. Oh, I came off of it. And drop it on. I actually want to bring it up also and see if I got metal shavings on this one, because this one's got to have metal shavings if it's him. All right, well, we got some windshield wipers that came off. I'll have Matt look up a windshield wiper arm for us.
There's no way. I mean, look at that thing, dude. That does not look like it's 53 years old, does it?
I mean,
because how long has it been missing? Isn't it 53? Isn't that the old one?
yeah, but I mean, remember they made things different back then too. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know, were the Sprints and the Caminos built pretty well?
As far as I know, I mean, like I said, things were just built different back then. I mean, the good news is it's pulling apart. That means that we're definitely dealing with an older vehicle. All right, that's a solid lock there. Ugh. Yeah, we're not getting any metal pieces, just trim clips.
I mean, it's 6 feet tall.
4 feet tall.
4 feet tall, it would be a Camino. 6 feet tall, it would be like a small pickup.
Yeah, I can't tell. Oh, see, look at that. There's a front end of it. Spin, that's a pickup truck. Oh look at that. Another vehicle right there. Did you see that? Right upside down. All right, so it's off to the right. About halfway on that. Right there, upside down. All right, I mean, at this point, I say we go get one more magnet. I think that maybe I suit up, bring the magnet, attach onto that one while I'm suited up here. There's a set of stairs there. All right, I'll be right back. I'll just have them park in that field there. There's a nice big area to turn around, hang out. And then we'll dive on both of these, but while we're waiting for them, we'll scan a little bit more right here. See if there's a third or fourth vehicle by chance. All right, and let's continue on with, while we're waiting for Matt, I'll give you, complete my information that I had for you this evening. Now, Julie here, she had a love for aviation and her job involved traveling around the country cleaning warbird airship and small aviation airplanes. That might explain why she had 3 checks to cash. One here, one there, just for like cleaning jobs. So that would make sense. So now she made plans to clean airplanes Thursday and Friday and to have her mom's dog groomed. She never showed up or called to cancel, which is uncharacteristic of her. She had a history of going out on her own without contact, but not for this long. Julia had started a GoFundMe to move in with her mom after her dad's passing, which she gave updates on until January 22nd, the day before she went missing. In her last update on 122, she spoke about her day on 119 and how she had started cleaning airplanes at Sacramento Executive Airport in 4-hour blocks at a time. She was last seen wearing a gray t-shirt with Sacramento Executive Airport on front and blue jeans. Carmen Nilsson. She was last seen in Sacramento, California at 2:30 p.m. on November 20th, 2015. She was driving southbound on River Road in a silver 2012 Honda Civic with the California license plate number 6XBB720. And that's all the information there is on her.
And that's all we know about her? We don't know anything about her life, if she was...
That is it. Nothing else is in the notes. So that could be a Pontiac Le Mans, maybe. All right, so there's a car right there. Look at, oh!
That looks like a Sprint.
That's your Sprint right there. See the back window, how it slants? Wow. I mean, that one's buried pretty good, but that could be your Le Mans too, though.
And now it looks like a 4-door.
Yeah. Let's see what the her Pontiac Le Mans looks like. Look at that picture there. Okay, put that in your brain. All right, so let's go with a 1965. So that's definitely not that car. So anyway, then we have John Atkins. His kids are coming out tomorrow. We believe that he's on that side of the river. However, we found this that is very similar to a GMC Sprint that we're looking for, which is like an El Camino car. And then there's a nice news article right up here that will splash on screen that you guys can pause and you guys can read that if you'd like. All right, Matt's here. The place with the dock and the nice concrete stairs. It looks like I'm parked where your photo shows the big loop. Perfect, period. Can you grab me 2 magnets and 2 buoys? Period. We will dive on 4 cars tonight, period. There you go. That's not tied right. Okay. Sweet. Yeah, I don't know what this one is. I mean, it could be a Honda. There we go. We're on there. We're on there. It's not solid. There we go. There's solid. There's a good picture. That could be a Honda. This could be Carmen. This is River Road. All right, there is the car. There, There it is. Come on. Yeah, see, that's a 4-door. Circle and drag into it. See, look, there it is there. Look. There's a solid lock. Alrighty. I gotta go suit up and dive in the dark.
All right, here we go. All right, and down we go. All right, let's go see what we can find. All right, this is buried quite a bit. What do we have here? All right. White in color. That is the front, so this is a, oh no, it's this is the pickup, so it's a white pickup truck. Really buried. A Ram 1500, so it's not the truck we're looking for. The window is down. Completely silted in, so I can't see if anybody's inside. Single cab. Tree stump in the back of it. This is be really easy to hook and pull it. Let's take the license plate up with this. Nope, that's stuck on there. Yeah, we'll just review the footage of it. All right. It is 7E9-1698. 7E9 from 2011. 7E9-1698. off. I have to swim up and see if I can find it. Yeah, we lost this one. We lost it. Oh, we found it. There it is. Got lucky. All right, back of it is buried. This is a Honda. Oh, we're looking for a Honda. Looking for a Civic. This is a Honda Accord. So not the Honda we're looking for. Top of it's completely missing. Oh, no, it's not. There's part of it. See if we can find a plate on it. All right, completely silted in. All right, there is no front license plate. License plate is gone. See if we can get the VIN number by chance. So the VIN should be right here. All right, here's the VIN. We're gonna have to just rip that one off. Let me see if I can see anybody inside. Yeah, completely filled in. Can't tell if anybody's inside or not. The license plate is, or the seatbelt's not engaged, so that's a good sign. I can actually fill onto the driver's seat, but that doesn't mean they're not in the back somewhere. Let's see if we can get the plate on the back. If not, we'll work on the VIN number. Normally the VIN numbers are not in the system. Usually in California, they don't have front license plates in California, so usually it's just a rear plate. So let's see if we can unbury it. Oh yeah, I think I've got it. There we go, we got it. All right, let's pop up. So it's a Honda Accord. Now our gal is missing in a Honda Civic, but I got the plate. I don't know if it's the same plate. You can look on the paperwork there.
6XBB720.
No, yeah, this is a 2JS C427. Come on. All right, stay on there. Uh-oh, I think it's coming off. All right, what do we have here? So we have a Chevy This is not a California plate. Not sure what state this is. Oh, it's falling apart. All right. MH1
Z4W. Gotta try to get it up without breaking it. Going. Alright. There we go. Gentle, gentle. Alright, there we go. Alright, so this is a... What is that? Impala. Alright, let's see if anybody's in it. So, let's see, this is going to be the driver's side over here. Woohoo! Alright, driver's side. See what we got? Alright. So I can get to the wheels to attach it. I can get to the undercarriage to attach it. We'll see where our magnet's at. Make sure it's a nice tight connection. Cannot get to the windows, so we have no idea on that one. Alright, Chevy Impala upside down. Still don't know what state this is. Vermont, I think. All the windows are up. Alright. That's Vermont. Upside down, all the windows are up. Alright, this one's supposed to be our El Camino. Or our GMC Sprint. Or a pickup truck. There it is. Chevy. Oh wow, that's buried there. Seatbelt is not engaged. From what I can see, nobody's right there. Stick shift. Single cab. Really buried. Alright, it has no tow hitch on this one. No license plate. Well, partial plate. It's pulling off. Yeah, there's no plate there. There's no pulling that one. It's a Chevy pickup truck. I can see in the passenger window. Yeah, that's completely filled in there. Let's see if we can get to any of the wheels. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one there. Gotta do it. Yeah, you're not getting through that one. Maybe tow hooks in the front. Let's see. We can get to the front of that one, maybe. We can feed it through. It'd be tough. But yeah, let's go find out about that Vermont plate. See what's going on, then we'll decide on this one. We can always pull that off. There's that other windshield wiper. Doing good on air. All right, here we go. It's a single cab pickup truck. The license plate is so old and deteriorated, it comes off. We could pull it if we really had to. It's not one I'd like to focus on. I'd like to focus on that
Chevy Impala. Let's see if that comes up at all in the system, and let's plan on rigging that one.
The Ram 1500 came back as stolen.
Okay.
I really gotta grab my reading glasses here. Missing person. Angela Anderson. Missing source. I'm not really finding anything here. So, Missouri MH1Z4W.
What does it say up there? I thought it said Vermont. Saw it. Yeah, M. It was not, Missouri doesn't have an M over there. I swear it said Vermont. Oh, it's an M.
That's a V, man, for Vermont. Right? That's a V.
All right, so you're right. It does say.
U,
Yeah.
I.
All right.
Okay.
Let's not. So you didn't find anything.
But can you,
Let me look on my phone. Let's call the guys. Let's rig it. Let's pull it. I mean, let's first of all do a little more research.
yeah,
Make sure it doesn't need to be a police matter.
the tow company might be able to find something, but does you have a contact that'll answer the phone in law enforcement out here?
No, I guess I already know. Okay. License plate number MH1 space Z4W. We're going to stay here for the night, and then we will rig that at 5:30 tomorrow morning. So I got to be up at 5:15 to suit up and go rig that at 5:30. It's going to be perfect because you're going to be able to drop it straight down for me.
Just like we wanted. So, we're going to unhook this one from here. I'm going to say, let's go around right here. So we'll put that one there, and that one here. Go, that one's there. And what we want to do is hook this middle one up from the bridle here. We'll go soft shackle to that one. Alright, let's take the slack out of it. Alright. That should all be good.
Probably double. Alright, push me back to the shore. The buoy, this buoy is the car. I have a white bridle J-hooks on the car. This is the back of the car that we'll be pulling from. It's upside down. I gotta take that other red one with me. So to confirm, you're gonna toss this one down to the bank for me.
Okay.
And then you'll hook this one up to that end of it, and then I'll pull everything down. Does that sound good? Okay. Yeah, throw it.
All right, throw it.
Thank you. All right, now we gotta get this over that.
This is the one from Missouri, right?
This is the Missouri one. So yeah, I don't know if I don't know what we're gonna find because it's in a location where it's an active location.
Hold on to this one.
Yeah, and then we'll just hook in the middle right there, so it's pulling off the two. And then we'll do this third one?
Yep.
If anything, double it up.
I'm on this side. That hook?
CSO says that looks like this one's stolen out of Missouri. And then the Ram sounds like it's stolen out of California here. That's just additional information on that one for you. And then what, like these cars, like say they're stolen, whether it's insurance fraud or just an insurance claim. What's the process for you? You know, it's like even if the insurance company paid out to you, are you still able to capture anything after the
So if the insurance company's paid the owner, then the insurance company takes responsibility of the car.
Right.
So once they're notified, technically they're supposed to pick it up. They'll pay the fees and pick up the fee.
Okay, so like yesterday, the Corvette as an example, Geico owns that one now.
So they'll be notified, and they're supposed to pick it up, whether they do or not. But by law, they need to register owner. They're liable for the insurance.
And then are you able to get reimbursed from them for that?
Yes, if they pick it. We picked up a lot of these out of like Jay's Towing in Portland here. He used to drag the line up, bring them in, and then the insurance companies would pick them up.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So at 38 years old, previous heart attack, how do you feel like this, you know, has affected you through the years?
You know, once an event happens, you can't go back and know what's going to happen the other way. That was the new normal, and that's how it was.
Yeah. How long before mom was able to accept this, or did she ever? Oh yeah, look at that! Look at that! I think that's the Sprint.
It looks exactly like a Sprint.
I might have just found John.